Welcome back to Muthu DevHub. Hey developers, ever wondered how JWT validation really works behind the scenes? Today we will manually validate JWT tokens in ASP.NET Core step by step. It is completely beginner friendly. Let's get into it now. What is JWT? JWT stands for JSON Web Token. Think of it as a secure ID card your client sends to the server. It contains claims like username, roles, etc. all signed with a secret key. In this video, why are we going to perform manual validation? Manual validation helps you to explore JWTs, understand claims, signature check, and expiration. Super useful for learning and debugging. And it's a great foundation before we are moving to automatic authorization. In the real industry practice, we always perform automatic authorization only. Here is how we generated a JWT token in the previous video. First, we created claims and then we define a secret key. Then we sign in with the SHA-256 algorithm and we set it to expire 30 minutes. Finally, this token will be sent to the client. Want to understand how this token is generated? I have linked a full video in the description below. Please check it out. In this video, we are going to manually validate the JWT in an endpoint. We used to check the header, extract the token, validate with secret key, and read the username from client. If all is correct, then the user is authorized. Let's open Visual Studio 2026. I will open an existing solution. I have provided a complete .NET Web API series in my playlist. I have provided the playlist link also in the below description. Additionally, I have provided the source code link in the description below. Feel free to access and download it. Great. Let's open the existing solution. Just I click on it. Nice. The Solution Explorer loaded successfully. Let's create a new controller. Right click on the controllers folder. Navigate to add. Press controller, choose API controller empty, press add button. I type secure controller, press add button. Nice. We have a new controller class file now. In this controller, we are going to create a new endpoint for the manual JWT validation. This defines an HTTP endpoint. The route will be something like that. Get/manual. It tells ASP.NET Core call this method when a get request comes with manual. For example, if you send a request from the Postman or Swagger or in your front-end applications, then only the secure manual will reach out. What is IAction result? It is an interface in ASP.NET Core that represents the result of HTTP request. What is the result of HTTP request? Here you go. Something we have written unauthorized and another return is OK. OK means 200 status. So this all handled by IAction result. Simply we can say that IAction result will handle the responses. Whatever you are sending the responses inside the method, all will be handled by IAction result. This is a return type as well for this method. Next is secure manual. This is the controller action method. Next is FromHeader authorization. This tells ASP.NET Core read the value from the HTTP GET request, something named called authorization. When we run from Postman tool, you can understand more about the authorization. Next is we have auth header, which is a string value. We can anticipate this will contains the full authorization header value, what we send from the Postman tool. For the manual JWT validation, I'm going to show you a sample analogy relevant to airport security check. Imagine you are going to airport. That airport is something considered as API here. You can imagine this is our API. API is something like airport. Next is user. User can be a passenger. User will send a request to the endpoint. Imagine we are going to send a request from Postman in this demo. So Postman can be a user. Next is passport can be considered as JWT token. We are going to send a JWT token to the auth header variable. This will contain a JWT token. So we can consider this auth header is a passport. Next is authorization header. It can be considered as passenger showing the passport. When you go to airport, you need to show your passport. So the user is going to show the passport. So we can consider this is something like we are showing the passport. Imagine when you go to airport, there will be a security counter at the airport. That is called HTTP GET manual. If you want to reach out to secure manual, first you need to hit this endpoint. Without this endpoint, you cannot reach to the secure manual method. We can say that HTTP get manual, it's something like manual security counter at the airport. This is not an automated process, but it will be a manual process. In this endpoint, we are going to validate the JWT token manually. It's not an automated process. In the upcoming video, I will show you how to perform a automatic validation for the JWT. But for your clear understanding purpose, I created a manual authentication in this demo. Next is FromHeader authorization. FromHeader authorization, something like passenger gives passport at the counter. When you go to airport, what we supposed to do? You need to provide your passport at the counter. The officer will ask you, please show me your passport. That is called authorization header. Here we are going to show your passport using this header. This auth header is something like you have your actual passport in hand. This passport can be a fake passport or valid passport or no passport at all. So we can anticipate, we can get a authorization header value which could be valid one or invalid one or maybe empty. First we used to check auth header is null or empty, and auth header should start with bearer keyword. This is the keyword in the JWT token. When you have a JWT token, it should always start with a keyword called bearer in the JWT token. So we used to check this must be valid. If not valid, we return unauthorized error message. If it is valid only, we will allow to the step 2. So what are we performing here? When you go to airport officer asks, do you have your passport please? If no passport, the officer will not allow you into the airport. If you have a wrong information in the passport, then the officer will not allow you into the airport. Same thing we are performing here. We used to check auth header should not be null or empty, and it should start with bearer keyword. Then only you can enter into the airport. Got it? Next step is we are going to extract the token. The token will start with bearer keyword, but we don't want bearer keyword. We are going to remove the keyword of bearer. After removing the keyword only, we have a valid token. When you go to airport, officer will take your passport and open it. He will remove the cover and looks at the actual document inside. What is actual document here? This auth header will contain additional information which is bearer keyword. We are not interested to read this. So we are going to remove this, and then only it will contain the actual token information. This is what the officer will do. Officer takes your passport and opens it. He is not interested to see your cover, but he is interested what is actually inside in the passport details. For example, your full name, address, and expiry date, so and so. So he is interested to look at on the actual information in the passport. This is what we are going to do here. Third step is we are going to create a secret key used to sign the token. Please remember, you need to use the same token key what you generated in the previous video. I go to Authentication Controller CS. This is the source code where we created our JWT token in the previous video. This is our plain text secret key. You must use the same secret key in your secure controller as well. Then only you can decode your token properly, because what you use the key, the same key should be used here for decode the token as well. Otherwise, you cannot decode it. For example, you are going to airport. Airport has a special scanner or device to scan your passport. This device knows how to verify the passport. It uses a secret method only the airport knows. Same thing, we have a plain text secret key. This plain text secret key should not be shared by anyone. Your server only will aware of this secret key. Other than that, nobody knows this secret key. Got it? Using the get bytes, we are converting the plain text secret key into a machine readable format. What is the symmetric security key? This will convert those bytes into a security key object. Then this key is used for signing the token and validating the token. In the previous video, we created a secret key for signing the token. Using this key, we sign the token. But in this demo, we are going to create the secret key for validating the token. You got it? So this key is used for signing the token and also validating the token. The key must be same while signing the token and also validating the token. Otherwise, you cannot decode your auth header, which is the token. In the fourth steps, we are creating rules to verify the token. What we define in this rule, first validate issuer is false. We tell to server, please don't check who created the token. In this demo, we are not going to validate who created the token. When you go for actual implementation in your production server, we will enable it true. In the upcoming video, I will show you how to validate the token or the validate issuer. But in this demo, we are not interested. Next is validate audience is false. We tell to to server, please don't check who the token is for. In this demo, we are not interested, so I put false. But in the actual application, we always anticipate it should be true. Third rule is validate lifetime is true. We used to check if the token is expired or not. This is mandatory field. If we put false, then anyone can send expired token. The expired token can be valid one, but in the actual token validation, it should be always true. We always ensure that we are sending a valid token. So in the actual scenario, what will happen? If we send expired token, then the token will be rejected. If it sends a valid token, then it will be allowed. Next is validate issuer signing key is true. This will cross check if the signature is valid or not. This will ensure the token was not changed, which is very important. When you run the application, at that time you will be more understanding about this. Next is issuer signing key. We are assigning the key to the issuer signing key. What we prepared for the symmetric security key object, we are going to assign in this issuer signing key. Use this security key to verify the token. What is the main rule of the issuer signing key? The key must be same in the secure controller as well as authentication controller. What is that? When you generate a token, how you created a key, the same plain text key and same mechanism should be appear here as well. Otherwise, you cannot decode your token. I jump back to the analogy. Imagine you are already in the airport. The airport officer defines some rules to check the passport. What are all the rules? In your passport, the officer will use to check is it expired passport or not. Next is it original passport or fake passport? And who issued the passport? Like which country issued the passport? They used to check some validation rules. Then only you are allowed to enter into the airport. Similarly, we used to define some validation rules in the token validation parameters. I hope you understood for the step number 4. In the step 5, we are going to validate the token. What are we doing in this line? We are creating an object of JWT security token handler. So this will store an object of JWT security token handler. This class is responsible for reading JWT tokens, validating JWT tokens, and decoding claims. Think of it as a built-in JWT processor in .NET. In the next line, we have a validate token. This method validates the JWT token. What it checks? Is the token signature valid? Is the token expired? Is the issuer correct? Is the audience correct? If everything is valid, then it will come to the step number 6. If something wrong during the validate token, it will automatically throw to the catch exceptions. The step number 8 will be executed during the validate token. You got it? Again, I switch back to the analogy of the passport. Imagine when you are in airport, your passport will go through the scanner. The scanner will use to check your passport whether the passport is expired or not, and it used to check your signature and tampering check. What is tampering? The passport is not modified by someone. If all good, then you are allowed to go to the airport. If something found relevant to fake or expire, invalid, you are not allowed into the airport. The same thing we are performing here. We used to validate the token using the defined rules. What are all the rules? Like token expiry date and time, and what is the signature of the validate issuer signing key, and what is the security key we used to validate the token. All things we define here. According to the rules, we are going to validate the token. Very simple, right? If the token is invalid or expired or it's tampered with someone, it will throw immediately to the catch exception. We look out the parameters. What is this? Token is already prepared one. What we prepared from the step 2, we use the token variable here. Next is token validation parameters. We already defined the rules, what we need to check in the token and what we do not check in the token. We already defined clearly in the validation parameter rules. We are going to use the validation rules here. Next is simply we can say that how the token should be validated. This is an output parameter. If you declare out keyword in C#, then this will be considered as an output parameter. These two are something like input parameters, and this will be an output parameters. Why it is output parameters? We declare the keyword called out, then it is an output parameter. Why we use the output parameter here? The validate token will use to validate the token along with the defined rules. If the token is valid according to define the validation rules, then this output parameter will contain a decoded token. This is an encoded token and this will contain a decoded token. You got it? While validating the token according to the defined parameter, if something wrong, the cursor automatically jumps to the exception. What are all the possible reasons to reach the exceptions. Something like the token is already expired or the token is invalid one. Anonymous users modified our actual token and send the invalid token. So and so. I hope you understood. The step 6 are completely optional one, which is not mandatory. But for more understanding purpose, I included the step 6 as well. What are we doing in this line? I am casting the validated token into JWT security token, which I assign the variable called JWT token. Why we are converting validated token into JWT security token? Validated token is a type of security token which is a generic one, but we want to access JWT specific data, something like claims, payload, header. So we are converting into JWT security token. What are we doing in this line? We are searching for a specific claim. We mention a claim type's name, and if match this name, then we are fetching this value. We are fetching the specific claims value. That's it. Simply we can say that we are going to get a username from the claims. What is claims? Data stored inside the JWT token. Here is a sample example. When you are in airport, the airport officer reads your passport details. What he read? He used to read your name, something like first name, last name, nationality, date of birth, so and so. Now we are going to read your name only. In our example, the airport officer going to read your first name only. The same thing we are performing here. We are going to read your name from the token. That's it. The name will be stored inside the username variable. That's it. In the step 7, we are going to return 200 status along with this message. Here is an example. When you go to airport, if your passport and visa everything valid, then the airport officer will allow you to go to furtherly. Don't worry at all. We will also run through the code line by line through the debugging mode. At that time, you will clearly understand what is happening in each line. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe and hit the bell button to learn more about securing APIs in ASP.NET Core. And also please comment if you want to learn advanced JWT topic. In the upcoming video, we will learn how to debug the code. From the debugging mode, I will also explain line by line what is happening behind the scene. And also we will learn how to call the API endpoint from the Postman tool. Thank you for watching. Cheers. Goodbye.